Very pleased to have with us Governor Greg Abbott for the great state of Texas. Governor, how are you?
I am doing terrific. Rick, how you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been too long since we talked, and what do I hear this special session? This whole thing was avoidable. You and I talked about this one time.
Well, it was avoidable, and what happened is there are a set of bills that are called sunset bills, which means that the lifespan of an agency will expire if you don't pass a law that continues that agency. One of those agencies is the Texas Medical Board. This is the board that licenses doctors to make sure that they can continue in their practice. And because the House and Senate did not agree on that issue, that means that we had to have a special session so that we can get this passed, because if we don't get it passed, come September 1, the state of Texas would not be able to license doctors, would not be able to keep open urgent medical centers.
You know, I thought I was a busy guy until I take a look at your daily schedule. Are there two of you running around town? Is that the deal? It's also
we have a whole lot going on. I had the opportunity to be down at NASA in Houston yesterday, meeting with the vice president, as well as unveiling the 12 new astronauts for the United States of America. And then back in Austin today, I have a stack of about 1,000 bills on my desk as we speak right now that I'm reviewing to decide whether or not to sign or veto that came out of this last regular session.
Now, also in this special session, you'll be talking about caps on state and local spending, an issue that's near and dear to a lot of Texans' heart, trying to figure out how to get on top of things.
You know, we don't have a problem that we have in Texas is a problem that we see across the United States of America. We have a country that is, 19 or $20 trillion in debt. And the problem with the United States is they simply are spending too much money without regard to the budget. You know, the same thing we try to imply in the state of Texas, which is important budgeting priorities. And one way to ensure that is to have caps on spending. So one thing I'm calling for in this special session is caps on spending at both the local and the state level to make sure that, at least here in Texas, we will remain fiscally responsible.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you say that. Let's talk about something. The entire country is looking at Texas for several reasons, but not the least of which the sanctuary city status. I think I just heard, was it this morning? I get up about 5:30, start prepping for the show. Dallas is the latest to jump on the bandwagon to try and sue over this. For the life of me, Governor, I can't see any upside, any positive thing that would come out of becoming a sanctuary city. Why is there so much pushback on this?
It's really bizarre, because what we are seeing is that those who support sanctuary cities are inviting into them very dangerous criminals. Remember, one of the things that gave birth to this was the unfortunate killing of Kate Steinle in San Francisco at the hands of someone who was there because of the sanctuary city policies, someone who had been deported from the United States of America multiple times and had been arrested multiple times. And so it just attracts criminals like that. The same thing happened in Travis County, which is where Austin is located, where the sheriff refused to enforce ICE detainer request and allowed dangerous criminals back out onto the street. And so what we passed, and is now law, I've signed it into law, is a ban on sanctuary cities in Texas. So we're seeing cities like Dallas and some other cities sue the state of Texas to try to put a stop to that law. Listen, this is a common sense law. A ban on sanctuary cities ensures that we're going to make our community safer. I want you to know that I got a phone call and visited with the widow of a man who lost his life at the hands of someone in the country illegally in the south part of Dallas. His name is Welton Betts. He and his wife Wanda were driving home from a Dallas Cowboy game this last fall. He stopped in South Dallas to get some gasoline when he was gunned down by an immigrant here illegally who should not have been here. And she wanted to thank me for passing this law and signing this law to make sure that there would be no future Welton Betts in Texas.
Governor, I've been asked this question more times than I can count. I've been doing this business as a living for over a couple of decades now. And, if I don't know something, I say I don't know, and I try to go find the answer. So you are where the buck stops. So I will ask you, if in fact Dallas and some of these other cities that are pushing back on Sanctuary City, if in fact they lose their court case and still refuse to abide by the law that you signed into law, what is their fate?
We pass very tough penalties that makes it really unable for any city not to comply with the ban on sanctuary cities. Here's what can happen. One, they can be fined up to $25,000 per day. It adds up to about $9 million a year. Two, they can be removed from office. Three, the officials who have any type of sanctuary city policy, let's say such as the mayor or the sheriff, they can actually be arrested and put in jail behind the very bars that they're releasing illegal immigrants from. And so the penalties are very stiff for any city or any official who fails to comply with the new ban on sanctuary cities.
Well, I just wish, first of all, I thank you for that. That's a personal thanks. I broadcasted out of San Diego for about 16 and a half years. I flew back and forth from here to there every 10 days for 16 years, but I saw with my own eyes what happens to a city, not only the crime rate, but the infrastructure as well, when you allow your city to be overrun by illegals. And I wish the media would get it right when they start saying, well, because of the law, Governor Abbott signed it, we're tearing families apart, we're doing this, nothing could be further from the truth. We're not tearing anybody apart. We're simply saying to the citizens of these respective cities, yes, we've got your back. As your elected officials, we're going to try to protect you to all ends. And essentially, that's what you're saying.
Well, you're right. Two things about it. One is the only people who have anything to be concerned about because of the ban on sanctuary cities are criminals. If you have committed a crime, yes, government is going to be looking for you. If you haven't committed a crime, you have nothing to worry about. But also going back to your California example, you need to know that I've had businesses and business leaders from California talk to me about moving to Texas because, in part, the sanctuary city policies that California has adopted. They say that sanctuary cities is bad for business. They want to get out of that bad business environment and get to a good business environment like what we have here in Texas.
Amen to that. You know, again, I know that that bill didn't collect any dust on your desk, and I appreciate that. Let's talk very quickly about texting while driving. Most of the country, or a good percentage of states, already have something on the books. What's next for us?
I think Texas became the 47th state to ban texting while driving. I signed the bill because there's just been far too many deaths occur because people were texting while driving. One thing that was in the bill that I insisted on was a preemption of these local ordinances. It, however, did not go as far as I wanted it to, because the way I see things is we shouldn't have a state law and then a multitude of patchwork quilt laws across the entire state.
Right.
We should have one law that everybody knows and understands, that everybody complies with. You shouldn't have one law in Dallas and then a different one in Grand Prairie, a different one in Arlington, a different one in Fort Worth, et cetera. You need just one law across the state of Texas. So I am still pushing for a total preemption of any and all local ordinances of using your phone while you're in the car, so that we have only one statewide ban on texting while driving.
And I like that too. I'd be hard pressed as I have gone through the list of this special session and the items you'll be covering. In the last minute or two we've got together, anything jump out at you that you're especially concerned about?
Two things I'll mention. There's a lot, but I'm going to mention two things because of the shortage of time. One is very, very important to the Dallas area as we speak because it's under investigation, is mail-in ballot fraud.
Yep.
There are at least 700 ballots that are in question in an election in the Dallas area. We need to crack down on mail-in ballot fraud. Two is that we need to reform property taxes in Texas. People in Texas are paying way too much in property taxes, and they're being priced out of their homes we need to find a way to curtail the out-of-control property taxes in Texas.
Man, I couldn't agree more. Governor, we've got to talk more often. We got to get this message out there that, we really do have people working on our behalf. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to see it at a federal level right now, but at least at a state level, that's why everybody's looking at us and wonder what Texas is going to do next. Great work, Governor, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
I look forward to it, Rick. Great to visit with you again. Take care and God bless.
Thank you so much. God bless. Governor Greg Abbott